Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe here with ArmA 2, and this is a single-player scenario that I kind of cooked up in the mission editor so that you guys can have something to look at while I discuss some new things in regards to ArmA 3. Now, as most of you know, Bohemia Interactive is on hand at E3 to cater to some of the media and press and whatnot, and they're showing off the latest build of the game, and I have to say, they've excited me even more because most of my complaints were, of course, in regards to aesthetics, meaning animations, sound, user interface, inventory, vehicle control. And from the video I saw today, even though it was just cam footage, which means video camera filming display, it still showed off the game quite well, and everything that I've been complaining about looks like it's being fixed. You know, the animations are looking very, very smooth. The motion capture technology that they're working in, the addition of Physics 3.0, which I guess they're implementing as we speak, the different movement speeds that they're adding, and the stances. And by movement, I mean they're actually adding a tactical walk. And I don't know how many of you play Ghost Recon, but in Ghost Recon, and I think it was maybe, might have been the original Rainbow Six, but the earliest Rainbow Six games in Ghost Recon had a shuffle speed. So you could shuffle, you could walk, and then you could run. Whereas ArmA will actually have a tactical walk, aka shuffle, a walk, a run, and then a sprint. So that's 4 movement speeds, and that tactical walk is there to get you the best amount of accuracy while on the move. And that's awesome because I really loved, I think I was like the only person that ever used that shuffle mode in Ghost Recon because it was kind of just hidden in the options and nobody ever really knew it was there because you had to just, like, I guess hit a different key to activate it. But I love that movement speed, and I'm really glad that they're adding something like that, and it looks pretty dang good. So there's that. There's the different stances. For example, not only can you crouch, but I guess you can kind of peek over different terrain and things like that. And even Rainbow Six 3 Raven Shield had stuff like that. Different levels of the lean, different postures. You can go into an urban prone that, if you're familiar with Magpul dynamics training, they teach you about kind of laying sideways on your shoulder to fire your rifle from the side. So that's what they call an urban prone. You can kind of do that in ArmA 3. They have this other posture where you can sit on your butt and have your legs out. It's kind of like a sniper stance to allow you to get a different, I guess, different levels of stability with your rifle. So the fact that they're just adding all those little things, which I know some people have actually worked into mods, it's really just nice to see that. Sound effects, even though it was at E3 and it was really loud around there, but you could kind of hear the sound effects have improved. They sound a little bit more beefy and solid, closer to their real-life counterparts. Now keep in mind, this video that you're watching is using the JSRS sound mod, so everything's just going to sound better anyway, but it's nice to see that they're working on that. There was a brief glimpse of the inventory, and it looked similar. The interface looks similar, but it seemed like the clicking and movement of it, or the handling of the inventory, looked a little bit more solid and precise. It looked more polished and clean, and that was, as you remember, that was one of my complaints, and I think that that's going to be a welcome addition. The only thing we didn't really see too much is like the general user interface. What is it going to take to control your allies and the AI? So I'm kind of curious to see if they've, you know, helped or fixed that up. The other things they talked about just making the game more accessible, making the controls a bit more solid, and working on different features to help everybody just, you know, get into the game. And now you might be thinking, oh, that's bad, you know, we don't want the game to be, you know, too simple or to cater to Call of Duty or normal shooter fans. Well, that's not really what I'm talking about. By accessible isn't necessarily a bad word. Making something accessible just means that it's just more simplistic to get into. Like for me, for example, like I appreciate realism, right? But there's no reason that the game has to be clunky or complicated in terms of its control or interface design. Those are just things that can improve over time, and that's what's happening. And that's I think what you have to understand with ArmA 3, because I have read a lot of the forum complaints and things like that where people are like, I really don't want the game to be too mainstream and things like that. And that's not what it's doing. It's evolving, and I think that that is the key terminology. It's an evolution of the game, of the genre. Yes, it is kind of in the future, and it's using a lot of conceptual weaponry and vehicles, but you have to look beyond that, because it's still maintaining that core gameplay, that realistic tactical simulator feel. It's just that it's getting modernized and polished and fixed up. It's taking some examples out of games like, of course, Battlefield. It's going for the aesthetics, and that's because if you think about it, the gameplay has been complete for years. The gameplay has never been the problem in ArmA, at least not from what I can tell. The problem has always just been the feel of it all. How do the weapons feel in your hand in comparison to holding a real rifle, a real pistol? You feel that control over it. You feel the weight of it, the level of shake, just the smoothness and polish of it. Those are the things I try to discuss, and it's not making it less realistic. It's just putting you in more control of your body, and they already do an amazing job of that in this game, because having the alt look and just being able to see every portion of your arm and your legs and stuff, and just kind of be one with your environment. No other game has really done it to this level. But I think with ArmA 3, they're just stepping it up and kicking it up a notch. And I really think that's cool. And I think that's where they've listened to their community. And I think, yes, in some cases that does help bring the game into the hands of other individuals that might not look at it. There's a lot of people. I mean, I'll admit, I was one of those people that when I first tried out the ArmA games, I was just turned off by the feel of it, like the gameplay was good, but I just couldn't, it just felt so clunky, and it really just made me drop it. I played the demo and I was like, you know what, it still has that just unpolished, just really just rough around the edges feel to it. And I can say now that, yeah, I've gotten a little bit more used to it, but it's still there, and I just kind of look past it because ultimately it's a much better game for me, at least, and so I kind of just like, okay, whatever, I'll forgive it. But to see that they're just, I keep saying aesthetics because that's what it is. That's that aesthetics bundle, that package of awesomeness that they were really just kind of missing, and I really can't wait to just feel the control of it for myself. And I'm praying that I can somehow get into beta, because I really just want to, have that kind of be my flagship title for the next few years to come, as well as, of course, all the other games that I'll end up playing. But I kind of want that to be flagship realism title. And I think it's good that they do make it a little bit more accessible, because maybe people that are old school Ghost Recon fans, because I'm a Ghost Recon old school Rainbow Six guy, but I could never get into this game because of certain issues that I had with it. I'm sure there's a lot of other people like me who kind of just felt the same. And in fact, I have a couple of friends that have my same train of thought. They're like, it's great, the gameplay's there, but it's just all this other stuff that's just too clunky and hard to just really, get that nice solid feel, I guess. So, it'll be good to bring in some other tactical veterans from other good old school games. But yeah, we don't necessarily want it to become Call of Duty-esque or Battlefield-esque. And a lot of people are afraid that DayZ is kind of doing that, because people are buying ArmA to play DayZ, and some people think that, well, they might be inclined to try out ArmA 3 regular one day and they'll just mess it up somehow, or it's just going to go too mainstream. But you guys, you just can't be afraid of a game being popular. You have to just, that's where the developer comes in. And as long as Bohemia sticks to their guns, makes the game the way they think it should be, then we don't have problems. And they've been making, whether it's been Operation Flashpoint, the original, ArmA, and then ArmA 2, ArmA 3, it's just the next evolution, and I think there's nothing to worry about. So just, stick with it, support it the way we have been. Bohemia seems to love their old school fan base, and they're independent. They don't have a publisher with a gun to their head, so I think it's going to be great, and definitely check out that Gamespot video. I'll try to have it in the link in the description below. And just be as amazed as I am. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this brief ArmA 2 gameplay as well as my ArmA 3 discussion. And I will definitely see you on the next one.